Hello, Councilwoman's Garden.
Hello, Chairman.
I
Happy
And
Monday.
don't know how the boys.
we
They're
are
great.
we're live streaming.
Okay, great. Give a couple of minutes for the mayor to join in. Hello, Councilman Gray.
Hey, how are you?
Doing all right?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna be doing a little volunteer work after this meeting, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Potentially. I'll call you when I'm on
Yeah.
the road.
Okay, you did.
And the mayor is joining now.
All right, great. Hello, Mr. Mayor.
How are you, Mr. Chairman?
Doing
I'm a little
good.
late.
Yeah, doing good, doing good. Listen, let's call the meeting to order. And Ms. Garden, if you would, you give an invocation.
Oh, thank you. Um, Dear God, please bless this committee and the members on it to do the work of the people to make sure that we are serving the citizens of Charleston to the best of our ability.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's entertain a motion on the approval of the minutes for January
Move
26th.
for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions on those minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Thank you. Down to item E, acceptance and dedication of rights of way, item E1. Who's going to address that? Acceptance of an easement of multi-use path located at 1765 Foley Road. Is that going to be Mr. Bucci?
Councilman, I can cover it if no one from.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's not my item, but I can cover it quickly. It's this is a easement on Folly Road for sidewalk that is being installed as part of the Rethink Road requirements of the city.
Great.
Basically, because it's a sidewalk being installed outside the right of way, the city has to agree to maintain that sidewalk as part of the easement process with the county for the project.
Good deal. Ms. Garden, are you in favor of this?
Yes.
Is that your motion?
So moved.
All right. It's properly moved, and do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any more questions on that item? Hearing none, all in favor, would you please say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The ayes have it. Uh, we're down to temporary encroachments, and all of these, which there are 9, is normally just for not an action item, just for information to all of us. Is anything unusual that we need a little bit more explanation on, or are these pretty much all in line with the norm, Mr. Bucci?
All standard items, irrigation, fencing, some specialty driveways.
Okay, good deal. Thank you. Item G, there are none. Public service update. There aren't any. Let me tell you, that's great when we don't have any public service update. That means trash is being picked up on time, people being satisfied with public services. There was a time when that was a pretty lengthy section of the agenda. So, so congratulations to all on that. Item I1, Department of Development updates. Who's going to address item 1? Stormwater standards. That's Mr. Bucci.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. I have a presentation. It kind of covers item 1 and item 2 as well. And I will start sharing my screen if that is okay with you.
That'd be great.
Okay, great. Let me move this over. Bear with me, please. Okay, I'm going to move to presentation mode. Are you all able to see my presentation?
We can, yes.
Okay, great. So this presentation and my items are both related to stormwater review fees. Basically, we have been discussing internally and with you all about working on some fees changes when it comes to the stormwater review. So I'm going to kind of go through the history and go through some of the changes we are proposing.
Very good.
So here's an overall meeting agenda. So first, we're going to talk about the purpose of the fee revisions, why we're doing this now. Then I'll cover the previous fees, what developers and engineers are currently paying for stormwater review fees, and then what we are proposing. Then I have a nice summary table to go over. And then also associated with the fees, but this is item 2 in the agenda, would be the third-party review policy we've been discussing and would like to take on. And then a timeline for when we expect all of this to happen. And then I'll open it up for questions. But of course, if you have questions while I go through the presentation, just let me know and we can go on for it.
Okay.
So the purpose of the fee revisions, the main purpose is that we want to cover the costs to perform these reviews. You'll see the current fees with the amount of time and resources we spend on the reviews. We're not currently covering our costs. So that's really why we want to bring these to you all now. And we want to support our ultimate goal of performing high quality stormwater reviews and providing comments to the applicant on time. We have been making improvements on this. You go back to 2024, we had a backlog of about 67 stormwater reviews. You look a few weeks ago in February and we were down to 10. So it is a big improvement, but it doesn't come at a cost. It does come at a cost, I guess I should say. And I'll kind of dive in that a little bit more with this next bullet is we want to continue to utilize third-party reviewers as needed. The ultimate goal is to hire in staff, but when we have staffing issues, we want to be able to lean on third-party reviewers so that we can provide those comments on time. And then the other thing is we are currently spending money utilizing third-party reviewers, but it would be great if we have a surplus. I wouldn't say a surplus, but we have enough money going towards the reviews and we're staffed up using these funds that we can use funds for capital improvement projects and help our small capital improvement project budget. So these are some quick slides. So 2013 is when we started implementing fees. Previously, I guess I'll say, even before then there were some, but it was $100 per disturbed acre, rounded up to the next whole acre. So you disturb 1 acre, you spend $100. Once you hit $2,000, that was the maximum of the fee. Our current fee structure is, we'll ignore the single family residential properties, they pay 100, but all other submittals are based on a 500 base plus 200 per disturbed acre, but with a maximum of 5,000. So once you hit that 5,000, independent of how large your project is, you will never have to pay more than that. And now we're moving on to what we are proposing to you all for discussion. I guess I should have said this to begin with. This has been discussed with BFRC and legal. We have circulated this with the engineering community and gotten some good feedback that we plan on looking into incorporating. We are reaching out to the development community to communicate these changes to them. And we are coordinating a call for that. And we have compared a lot of these prices versus, what we pay or what it costs us to do the reviews, as well as the third-party review costs. So with that being said, the main changes covered is we'll have a base fee still of $500, but we increase the 200 per disturbed acre to 400 per disturbed acre. And we raise the cap up to 20,500, which would be met at if you are disturbing 50 acres. So anything over 50 acres of disturbance would cap out at 20,500. The other major change we made was any subsequent resubmittal, we have a review fee of 1/2 the previous fee. And I'll cover that in the summary table, but we wanted to move towards a paying per submittal. Every time we are touching it and we are spending time reviewing it or a third party spending time review it, we want to recoup our costs. So we thought it was fair to move towards a per resubmittal approach. And the last change is City of Charleston capital projects or projects that have more than 50% or more affordable workforce housing will be charged $0 stormwater review fee. These are obviously important projects for the city, and that's kind of why we've taken this approach. I will switch over to the summary table. So this kind of just shows you 2020 to 2026. So with the 2020, it's just a one-time fee. we did charge projects less than half an acre in the 2020 if you were within half a mile of a coastal receiving water body. But we now do not charge fees for anything less than half an acre. So that is a minor change where we won't be charging a fee anymore.
Excuse
But
me, excuse
yes.
me, Bucci, we have a question by Councilman Gregg. Let him.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Bucci. Do you want questions now or wait till the end? Because I had a question on the previous slide.
Oh, now is fine. I can flip back.
On the subsequent review fee. So if how are we going to manage that? I'm just thinking if you know, staff sees something else on the submittal. I mean, I'm assuming this would apply only to stuff that was mentioned on the first submittal. So if something is not addressed on the first submittal and it goes through and gets flagged again on the second submittal.
Exactly. Basically, the way we would enforce it is if a project needs to go back through the technical review committee process and go back to all the reviewers and there's outstanding comments, then we would charge the subsequent fee. Once we get to a paperwork review, which is, hey, you just need to address, provide us a permit from the Army Corps or something along those lines, we wouldn't charge the fee at that time. It's when there's still outstanding comments. So if they resubmit, hey, you didn't address these comments, you addressed some of them, but you still have outstanding comments, so you need to go back in front of the technical review committee, we would charge a fee.
Okay, so they submit on the first, you know, so their first submittal, they spend $20,500. And then it comes back and, you know, let's say there's 20 comments. They're going to have to do a $10,250 second submittal.
Correct.
How many come back for a second? I mean, it seems like it's like 100% come back for a second submittal.
I would say the majority. Yep. Unless it's a very small project, something, you know, under an acre, but yes.
I'm just thinking of like, how can we, I mean, the goal of this is to eliminate the second submittal. So is there something that we can do with these developers to help?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saving the money necessarily, but I, you know, if the goal is to incentivize getting it right on the first submittal, which is what it seems like, then I'm just wondering if there's some better guidance we can provide on the front end. Does that make sense?
It does. And to be honest, that's another reason why we thought to implement this. We thought that the money that they would pay for the second submittal would motivate them to, you know, make sure that they're addressing all of the comments and trying to get it done in the first submittal. And, you know, we have projects, you know, some people do get it second review, third review, but then we have those projects that just continue to submit to the technical review committee, and it takes a significant amount of time. We're hoping that this process would help eliminate those resubmittals, because I'm with you 100%, council member. I think the goal is to get these in and out the door, obviously get them right, but the faster we can process them, the more money it's going to save us. So we were hoping that this would work as motivation towards that goal.
Okay.
Mr. Bucci, let me follow up.
Yes.
If I developer submits a project and it has 20 comments and I've addressed 18, why would I even be eligible for a second review if I hadn't even addressed all 20?
That's a bigger question. I think, you know, we are being told when they resubmit that all the comments that have been provided has been addressed, and the only way to confirm that is with the review process. We don't have the time when the submittal comes in to address it there and confirm that. That's why we have those timelines. But, you know, I hear you. We have been having more discussions on getting more quality submittals up front. And we are working on things, looking at the technical review committee as a whole to address that.
Right.
This is just a step towards it, I guess I will say.
Okay. All right. And when we submit, get the outside reviewers, understand the fee, agree with the fee, are we covering our costs? So we get somebody from outside to review it. Will these fees cover the cost of?
It is very project dependent. I would say it gets a lot closer to covering our total costs.
Mr. Chairman, we're definitely not meeting our costs now. And so that's a big part of this. And we're going to continue to monitor it. And of course, state law doesn't allow us to make a profit on it, but one of the things that we, a perspective we're taking into this is it's not just the salary costs of a reviewer. It is the carry costs, the overhead, everything that goes into it in terms of, our basis, if you will. So this is an effort to level set, and I will say that I just actually had a meeting with some of the builders, and I'm meeting with them again next week. We've met with the chamber, board of realtors. Everybody's very supportive of this concept because everybody wants it to work more efficiently, and they certainly do appreciate our need to make sure we are properly staffed. And I will have to just say that they all have crushes on Mr. Bucci too. He's, the man. So I wanted to encourage you there, Ron.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well done.
I thought I was too tan to blush, but I think I'm probably blushing.
Leave it at that, Mr. Bucci.
All right. Well, I guess with that, I will continue. But if you got more questions, throw them at me. So to go back to the summary table. So this just gives you an idea of what those cost increases will be. We based it on 3 reviews. That is, we think, in our opinion, a reasonable amount of time for a project to get through. There's always things to tweak, but so you can see there is a jump. Again, we eliminated that half an acre. We did compare to surrounding municipalities. One of the best comparisons we have is probably Charleston County. They have the same fee structure that we have for the 2020, but the major difference that we have is that they don't cap their fee. So we currently have a 5,000 cap. They just let it go and go and go. So if a project's 100 acres, they would just charge 500 times 200 per disturbed acre all the way. Of course, that is a one-time fee that they're charging. That's why we try to balance it out where we put a cap, but we're going to do the subsequent to hopefully motivate the applicants to get their review done. So this is just some examples. I just wanted to put scale to the fees we're talking about. Tried to get a 1 acre and then a larger one. So looking at the Dewberry, if they were ever to redevelop it, it would basically come out, if they got in and out in 3 reviews, to about a $2,300 fee. And then if Harris Teeter Shopping Center in West Ashley, that's almost a 15-acre parcel. And again, these fees are based on disturbed area. It's not based on parcel area. So, it would probably be rare that they would disturb all 15 acres. But if they did, they're looking at about an $11,400 fee. Chairman, I guess, wearing, like you said, it's covering a larger portion of what we're spending. But, when we're looking at the third party, these complicated projects can still be in excess of what we would recoup.
Okay.
So that's the fee section of the presentation. So now moving into the next, and this is kind of just for a discussion. There's no action to be taken on this, but we wanted to create a policy because now we're talking about third-party reviews, and we wanted to create a policy for allowing applicants, if they would like, to request a third-party reviewer. We wanted to add a few requirements to that. We didn't want every project. We think there are a lot of projects that we can manage in-house, especially the less complicated ones. So we're kind of saying if a project's 5 acres or more disturbed area and within a stormwater special protection area, is not located within a stormwater protection area. So if you're disturbing 5 acres or more and not within a special protection area, if your project's 1 acre or more and within a special protection area, or if your project's 1 acre or more of disturbance and is within an area that has a city model that we utilize, those are all meet the criteria to allow for the developer to request a third-party reviewer. Some other caveats to that is the request must be made prior to TRC submittal so that the proper agreements can be put into place. We enter into memorandums of agreement. We have done this in the past. Again, this is a more formalized process we're looking to put together. The city retains the right to reject any request and conduct any stormwater review in-house, with the goal being that we want to have enough staff to do all reviews in-house, but in times of need, this would be an option. and the city, not the applicant, will select the contracted engineering firm who will perform the review. We have 3 contracted firms that we use. It is not up to the applicant to pick which firm they want to use. We pick for them based on workload. So that's a policy we're looking into. And non-standard infrastructure. This is one that's been coming up. And we are basically saying, if you are a development team and you propose any non-standard infrastructure items, so anything outside of roadways, sidewalks, curb and gutter, that require a more substantial review, bridges, retaining wall, trip walls, and you want these items to be dedicated to the city, then that development team will be responsible for the cost associated with the review and the inspection until the item is approved through the dedication process. We want to review, obviously, the drawings and review during construction because it's going to be dedicated to the city and become a part of our asset management pool. However, we don't have enough internal staff to handle a lot of these more complex reviews. So we require third parties, which has been our cost. So we are now trying to push that cost onto the development team when they feel the need to require such non-standard infrastructure. And then this is, again, just to go to how we would structure the cost. The city will require the applicants to enter into an agreement. It would be an MOA to reimburse all costs associated with third-party TRC stormwater and non-standard infrastructure reviews. That money would be reimbursed to us and we would pay the reviewers. We're discussing the possibility of adding in an administrative fee. We're working through that process of what would be appropriate. And then this option has the same caveat with the stormwater review fee where you would charge a $0 fee if it's a capital project or a project that has 50% or more affordable or workforce housing units. And this is just a rough timeline that we've been working with. So we are at step 1, Public Works and Utility Committee. We are presenting the ideas to you. We have put these on public notice just to get that process started because the fees do require a 30-day public notice. We can still revise it based on discussions we have. We plan on March 10th to report to council to let you all discuss it with other council members and to get feedback, but it would not go to first reading until March 24th. So by then we hope to have a good idea of what these ordinances would read like. Both with the stormwater review and potentially the administrative fee that we may come up with. And then the next council would be the final reading. And that's all I got. With that, I'm happy to go back to any other slides, talk through any items, any more questions you all have.
Any questions from committee members? Well, when this comes tomorrow, is it are you going to give a summary to the whole body tomorrow?
So our goal was before it goes to council, we wanted a little more time to communicate this development community. It won't go to council until the 10th of March. And I'm more than happy to, if you'd like me to do a little more condensed presentation, I'm more than happy to do that.
You do a little more condensed. I mean, the private sector is going to find out, but I mean, give council, all members of council, a heads up before it eventually comes back, on the 10th. So it's great for our committee here. We don't need to ask questions of you. We've had our opportunity, but a little bit tomorrow would be good. This is good. I mean, covering our costs or even coming close to covering our costs is something that's long overdue. Great work.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so yeah, I don't know if it's on the agenda, but I'm more than happy to, just bring it up.
The Public Works committee
Okay.
on the agenda. So
sounds great.
We can do it under that.
Okay.
All right. So that was just for information only. Thank you, Mr. Bucci. Item J1.
I see. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'm sorry. Councilman Gray.
Sorry, I can't recall. So did the stormwater fees, did they go to the general fund or does this go into the stormwater?
Yeah.
It goes
Good
back
question.
to
Yeah, these all go to the stormwater funds.
Okay. And we pay the third party reviewers out of that fund, not out of, okay. For some reason I was thinking the stormwater fee was just for our city infrastructure. It's like an enterprise fund. I didn't realize that that's what.
Yeah.
was thinking that the fees would go to the general fund, but that makes sense. So just
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, the only item that could go one way or the other is the non-standard infrastructure. Some of those items might be funded with the general fund, but it's not like we're collecting a fee. That's just the third-party review would get reimbursed to the general fund and not the stormwater fund.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Now we go to item J1, Windermere Drainage Improvement Project. Mr. Fountain.
Mr. Chairman, I think we might need to take action on I-1.
Oh, I thought this was for information.
So no action needs to be taken
Okay, thank
at
you.
this. Yeah, thank you.
All right, good deal. It's coming soon, but not just yet. Mr. Fountain, you're up, J1.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, as you're aware, the Windermere Drainage Improvement Project is moving forward, currently out for bid with contractors. As part of that process, we've been working very closely with CWS because there's a large amount of utility relocation. Plus, we're working within the Greenway, which, as you know, is a major CWS utility corridor. This is the MOA we've developed with CWS for cost sharing of the different utility relocations on a series of DOT roads, CWS property, and then city roads. Looking at the breakdown of basically prior rights plus the in-kind utility cost sharing under DOT road rules, we end up with a estimated relocation of just over $2 million, which CWS would reimburse about $1.2 million of. Let me note just very carefully, these are estimated numbers based on construction engineering estimates and are likely to change with the final bids, which will also change the cost share potentially slightly in the exact dollar numbers. So we may come back with a revision, but this is our best estimate so far of that cost share. It's a really good example of us working collaboratively with CWS to build a project as efficiently as possible for both entities rather than trying to point fingers at each other for who should pay for which costs. So it's been a great process. That's why we're able to do the project at all, is them letting us work through the Greenway itself. Really good relationship on this one.
All right, good deal. That sounds great. Any questions from committee members or input? All right, what's the pledge of the body? Is the motion?
Move for approval. Second.
Probably moving second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. J2, Barberry Woods, Mr. Fountain, update.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so I was going to have Ms. Jordan Millette, who's the project manager, give a quick update on that project, if that's all right with you.
All right, Ms. Millette, you're up.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, and council members. I will share my screen now. And hopefully that's working for all of you folks. So this presentation is on the Barberry Woods Drainage Improvements Project, which is now called the Dale Morris Ecological Park. The project just wrapped up with construction last month, and we're really excited to share some more about the project and its benefits with all of you. So the project need was identified as part of some initial studies prepared by Davis and Floyd. These studies showed that flooding in the Barberry Woods neighborhood was as a result of undersized infrastructure throughout the whole project area. The stream channel you see on the graphic on the right over here contributes to days-long flooding events that block access to the neighborhood's single entrance, effectively cutting them off from emergency services. That's this stream coming through here. And then Ardura, formerly WK Dixon, then developed the project from concept to final design, what you see on the screen here, with funding support from National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. The project is now expected to reduce flooding to less than 8 hours during the 100-year storm event. And in lieu of just replacing the undersized infrastructure mentioned before, the project team sought to apply the principles of the Dutch dialogues, which emphasize managing water near where it falls, as well as utilizing natural systems for stormwater management. So the main project features include a flooding overflow channel. So the stream that you saw on the last slide is coming right through here. And when that stream stages up, it overtops into this overflow channel and allows stormwater to enter the site, which then flows through over 11 acres of new wetlands. Other project components include a floodplain bench, which allow floodwaters to spread out along the linear channels, a boulder cascade, which you see on the bottom of the screen in here, which manages the energy coming from the wetland cells to the downstream channel. We like to joke that we've built the largest waterfall in the Charleston area. There's also a maintenance path around the site perimeter, and then a new pedestrian walkway and bridge, which you'll see in some future slides, that provides opportunities for passive recreation, community connectivity. Like I said, you'll see a few more pictures of that in a few slides.
How many acres is that?
The project site is around 20 acres in total. The wetland cells themselves are in total 11 acres.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah. So in early 2025, Low Country site work was contracted to build the project. And like I said, we just achieved final completion last month. One of the project design components was to reuse all woody material on site. You can kind of see we have a lot of this stockpiled. This brings you through the different stages of construction. Initially, when we did site clearing, then got everything down to bare dirt. And then this is what it looks like today. So we have standing snags, inverted root wads. Those are located in the wetlands and on the outside banks, downed logs within the wetlands and floodplain benches. And all of these features promote wildlife habitat and bank stabilization. And then once the site was cleared and regraded, the whole site was replanted with about 5,000 trees, 8,900 shrubs, and 3,600 live stakes consisting of almost 50 different species of native plants. We paid particular attention to the specific species and their varieties to provide biodiversity and to support an adaptable landscape. I learned a lot about different cultivars and nativars that, yeah, a lot of good biodiversity out here. And then here's that picture of the pedestrian bridge and path that I mentioned before. As I mentioned, the project was completed last month, both on time and on budget. Construction funding was provided in part by the South Carolina Office of Resiliency through their ARPA Stormwater Infrastructure Program. And ultimately, SCORE was really happy with the city's management of the project and were able to allocate some additional contingency funding to help us install additional site access controls. And that's the Barbary Woods project. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them off.
Any questions from committee members? Man, this is wonderful, man. I mean, those people in Barbary Woods, man, you need a John boat to get around in that place, man. This is wonderful.
Be beautiful with those cypress trees too.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a few months, once it's all leafed out, it'll look really lovely.
Yeah. Man, that's great. You know, man, somebody, I mean, the rest of us need to know about this too. I know Councilman Brady and certainly McBride. I love this. Shoot. Anyway, great work, great work. Great explanation too.
Great, thank you.
Agreed.
Item J3, discussion on stormwater fee exemption for homestead exemption. Councilman McGregor.
Yeah, I'm not going to win and make any friends or influence people with this one, I'm sure. But
I don't know. Let's see what you got.
Well,
if we're over 65, do we have to recuse ourselves from this conversation?
Probably, I believe both of you. Well, no, not quite you, right, Mike? But
No, I'm over 65.
okay, well, look, you know, when we switched the bills over from Charleston water system, switched the billing over to the county tax systems, there's going to be there will be an uptick, and I believe Mr. Fountain told me there's been an uptick in the number of folks asking for homestead exemptions on this $132 fee or whatever the number is, $11 a month. You know, the fact of the matter is the 65 and older cohort is the wealthiest cohort in the history of the world, not just in our country. And so if we're talking about exemptions, you know, we can talk about a need-based exemption, I think, but the fact that, you know, just by nature of you turning 65 years old, I don't think that should qualify somebody for an exemption on this important fee that we use to fund infrastructure, like the project that was just shown. You know, I would venture a guess to say there are a lot of 20-year-old waiters and police officers that are struggling to pay their bills far more than there are 66-year-olds that live on Trad Street, for example. Not picking on Trad Street, just throwing out an example. So I'd like to see if there's something that can be done to eliminate this homestead exemption on the stormwater fee. That's money that's needed to fund infrastructure projects in the city. And I'm concerned that if the number of people that qualify for it, I believe it's going to be around $1.1 million in stormwater fee revenue that we'd be missing. Well, that's more than the number of people that were not paying their bills when we were billing under the Charleston water system. So, in one sense, we're going backwards on stormwater fee collections if the homestead exemption is allowed on stormwater fees. So I would like to ask staff to. I don't know if this would require legal review, but I'd like to ask staff to draft an ordinance to remove the homestead exemption for the stormwater fees.
Well, let's you throwing that out for discussion, Councilmember?
Anybody have comments, or is it just?
Well, no, I'll say, I think you make a good point. I mean, you make some really good points here. I do think it is worth having legal and/or staff take a look at it to see if you can bifurcate based on need and what that might look like. Because that's, the devil's in the details. And I think I get your point on somebody that is living on Trent Street that could readily afford it versus others that may have more need-based concerns. So I think it might be worth taking a look at least from my perspective, and I'm glad to have staff do that.
I started to say, Mr. Chairman, let me have a word, but then I am the chairman. So, but you're not going to believe this, but I've been trying to think about the right time to bring this forward. So thank God for you, Councilman Gray, because I've probably worn out Mr. Fountain on this probably 2 years now. On this, at least. I spoke to Mr. Bucci about it when we met last week on the stormwater fee. I mean, the outside consultant fees. When I guess this discount is maybe, or this exemption, it maybe come up on as much as 30 years old. The whole Charleston community obviously was a lot younger. Okay. I'm 70, but I should pay some stormwater fees. You know why? Because I want ditches in front of my house and on the street for my neighbors to be open and clean. With the number of retirees that's leaving the Northeast and moving and Midwest and moving to, the Southeast, and in particular Charleston, it's not going to be long before the majority of our population, which baby boomers are in this country, are going to be, 65 and older. Baby boomers right now are obliterating the Social Security system. Okay. And that's just because 77 million of the 300 and I don't know, 30 million Americans are baby boomers. So our stormwater costs are increasing, and the people who are going to be paying into it is decreasing. That's a formula definitely for failure. So one of the things that I thought about, we have the homestead exemption on property taxes for the county. A discount is given, not an elimination. So while staff is looking at that, maybe we can parrot something at the first, property tax is based on assessed value, so that's a little bit different. But I don't know if it's a 20% discount or something, but the idea of exempting 100% isn't realistic now. Not given sea level rise, and anybody who's been around here for a period of time, who in particular raised around here, you're seeing water in places that you never saw water in before. When you come off the World War I bridge and you veer right to go on 61 towards St. Andrews Boulevard, during King Tides now, we got a barricade up there to detour you to 17. That never was the case. And that wasn't that long ago. 10 years ago, that wasn't happening. So the idea of 100% exemption, I agree with you, council member. You don't have to be 65 or older to agree with the next generation down, right? I, I think that's something we need to work on sooner rather than later. The whole idea of putting it on the property tax bill was to increase collections on a lot of people who were just, bad actors and subtracting it and not paying. And CPW didn't have the right to enforce collections. So we've gotten across that hurdle. Now I think it's a matter of just, I do believe maybe in a discount, but certainly a 100% elimination. Seniors like discounts. You give senior citizens a 10% discount, 20% discount. We'll drive from here to Somerville to get a meal at 10% off or 20% off. So a discount, but elimination, that needs to end. No doubt about that. Any other input? Council Lady Scott.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm interested in this, and I agree with what the mayor said of taking a look at needs-based fees. And I'm wondering, are there other examples of fees that are charged in the city or by the county where we do have a needs-based delineation or assessment? I'm thinking of, the 80-year-old grandma in Westchester who's on fixed income and all of a sudden gets, $132 added back to her bill. That's going to hurt. But how can we make sure that, especially those who are elderly, older than 65, older than 70, don't feel that impact? And are there examples of how the city's doing this in other areas already?
Well, let me say this one other thing that I think we can consider is obviously anybody disabled or something, something like that, ought to get exempt. I mean, because if you're disabled, you don't pay your property tax. I mean, you get exempt from property taxes. So some of the reasons to waive the fees, I think other entities have in place already, and we can learn from their experience. But your point about needs-based, we need a little more information on that. But so some of the, like I said, disability and things like that. And you don't have to necessarily be elderly, obviously, to be disabled. So staff does research, maybe they can look through that as well. Good comment. Any Councilman Seekins, I see your hand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just very briefly, and I know that Councilmember Gregg was going to bring this up, and I think by and large I agree with him. But I think rather than a blanket exemption to the blanket exemption, we really ought to think about it. I agree with Councilmember Scarden. I mean, I can think of some examples, one that very close to home. My mom, who lived in the city of Charleston until she was 93 years old. I mean, any help she could get was really useful. She lived on a very fixed income. So I think we really need to think about it on a needs-based analysis rather than just saying we're going to pull it out completely. I think that's something we just need to think about.
Okay. All right. Any final comments on that issue? Good catch, Councilman Gregg. Well, one other thing I think we need to follow up, this isn't on specifically that, but on the amount that are owed to the city. Mr. Mayor, are we doing anything to go back and collect, or Mr. Fountain, whoever can address that, collect stormwater fees that's in arrears that's owed to the city?
And Mr. Mayor, if that's all right with me to.
Sure, Mr. Fountain. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Mr. Chairman. So that is what we're working with CWS right now, is as we close out, for lack of a better word, the CWS books, they are compiling any aged AR to transfer over to our system. And then we're working with BFRC to come up with a couple of different processes for how to look at collections on those remaining balances. So that's something we're working on right now with CWS and with BFRC.
Good deal. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. I think we all in, right? Okay, miscellaneous K1, request to enter into a royalty-free license agreement with the National Resources Defense Council for a professional photographer for FEMA buyout sites. It's going to be you, Mr. Fountain?
I can take this one, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Kayla,
This
okay.
is, yeah, this is related to a partnership we've had at no cost to the city with the National Resources Defense Council. They hired a local professional photographer to take some nice photographs of some of the restoration work that our stormwater team has done on our buyout sites. So we can help tell that story to the community. So this would just be an agreement for the city to use those photos.
That's a great idea. Okay, thanks. Any final comments? Well, by acclamation, we stand adjourned. Look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, all right.